The next speaker is Harin Thaker. Harin Thaker is the chairman of the Akshayapatra Foundation UK, which is a free school meals charity program devoted to feeding school children from India's poorest families. Akshayapatra was founded in 2000, and in 13 years the foundation's success has been such that today Akshayapatra feeds 1.4 million children, a phenomenal effort every day at school, helping the cause to become one of the world's largest midday school meal programs. Under Thaker's stewardship as UK chairman of Akshayapatra, the ambition is to grow the charity's reach to feeding 5 million children a day by 2020. From an initial 5 schools feeding 1,500 children a day 13 years ago, Akshayapatra now supports 8,200 schools. Please welcome Harin Thaker.
I will explain to you about this charity. We are running out of time. I'm going to be very, very quick. Some of you are making notes. Please don't, because I'm going to throw a lot of statistics for my timing. About this charity. Would you support an organization that is catering for Indian charity, a country which is the second largest growing economy in the world after China, and had it not derailed recently, it would have been the largest economy in the world by 2015. Well, an extraordinary revolution is taking place in India. And let me give you 2 sides of India. 20 years ago, if you remember, it took 3 years to get a telephone line connection in India. Today, there are almost 1 billion telephone line connections. India boasts the fastest growth in cell phone service operations, with companies adding some 6 million customers a month. The likes of Walmart, Vodafone, Citigroup have placed multi-million bets on India, lured by 300 million middle-class Indians in India. India is the world's largest producer of milk, and second largest producer of wheat and rice. 6,600 companies on the Mumbai Stock Exchange. World's second largest pharmaceutical industry after China. And world's second largest small car market is in India. Now, would you support a charity in India? This is the question I keep getting asked. This is another side to India as well. India accounts for more than 50% of the world's hunger, more than the whole of Africa that we keep seeing on the television screens. 340 million are poor and live below the poverty line, each one of them less than $2 a day. 200 million remain hungry every day, and 350 million Indians are illiterate. The largest illiterate population is in India. There are 1 teacher for every 2 classes in 50% of the schools in India. 19 million children who are being sent to schools are not even being fed at home. Can you actually concentrate on your studies when you're hungry? And further 6 million children do not even have the privilege to go to school. Why? Because they have to go to work to earn a living for their families. And 42% of the children who, by the time they come into our fold, are already malnourished. What India needs is an inclusive growth. Rich and poor, educated and uneducated, rural and urban, we all need to let it grow in a very inclusive way. We need to educate these masses so that they appreciate the compassionate capitalism. And it's the only way the world's largest economy can grow in a very safe environment. And here is the formula. Statistics have shown that when one educated person is meaningfully deployed in the economic activity, he or she takes 3 or 4 other family members out of the poverty cycle. So we came up with this idea. In year 2000, Akshayapatra was founded to combat this very cause of this vicious problem that continues to flourish in India. The foundation began just with 5 schools as an experiment with 1,500 children, and it was an amazing experiment. Soon as we started delivering the meals to school children, more and more children started coming to these schools. Parents started coming to us and say, would you mind feeding children in our schools as well? Nobody knew that there existed such an acute problem. Why? Because the children were hungry. They started coming to school. And the idea was, if they keep coming to school, we will be able to retain them within the schools, get them educated, and follow their holistic development as well. Ladies and gentlemen, 10 years on, from the 1,500 children in 5 schools, 10 years on, we become the world's largest NGO that feeds more than 1.3 million children across India in 9 states, out of 20 locations, all the 10 other states. Just think of the logistics. 4,500 paid employees make this happen every day, day in, day out. Not a single meal is missed. Not a single child misses his meal every day. We have the capacity to cook 40,000 chapatis an hour, 70,000 idlis an hour in South India. We have built up a capacity to cook for 150,000 children in one of our kitchens. And independent studies have shown that what you've given, does it make an impact? And we have carried out independent studies through S. Nielsen. And it's been proven since the program was started, just within 2.5 years, attendance levels went up by 28% in Bangalore. Dropouts dropped, enrollment increased, the gender gap narrowed, the development of the children improved, but the performance in the classrooms also improved. So this program was starting to make an impact. But remember the year, it was 2000, nobody knew about it. By the year 2003, the government of India woke up and realized what an acute problem we have in India. So they enacted a law that every school must provide a meal. And what happens? When government enacts a law, everybody sets up an NGO and everybody wants to start feeding the meal, and 70 to 85% of the government money gets lost in the leakages and wastages and all that. But the government has fallen in love with this organization. 50% of the subsidy comes from the government. So when you give £10 to feed a child for the whole 1 year, the other £10 is matched by the government of India and the state government of India. Together with the donations that we collect from the individuals as well as the corporates, we are now feeding 1.3 million children. At Akshayapatra, we believe feeding a child and through education, through feeding a child and educating that is not a charity. It's our social responsibility. And to be safe in the largest democratic nation, you need to have masses that are at least literate. I did tell you that it costs £10 to feed a child for a whole 1 year. It's amazing. I have seen the logistics, I've been there, I did my due diligence. It took me 2.5 years to do my due diligence before I signed up. It's a very simple formula. What I found, it's scalable, it's transparent, it's accountable, it's got its risk management processes in place so that food and safety is properly taken care of. Between 450 calories to primary school children and 550 calories for secondary school children, they serve the meal. The meal is served hot, it arrives in the classrooms, and the children, the smile you get on the faces of the children is just amazing. But I'll tell you, more than that, I went to the head offices. I wanted to understand this organization because it was founded by a faith-based organization and turned into a secular organization. So we have children coming from Hindus, Muslims, Christians in the classrooms because these are not our schools, these are government schools. We get allocated these schools. And I found that they had won awards after awards and awards and after awards. You can pick up the brochure from outside, which lists all these accolades and awards and recognitions. But one thing I found, with an accounting background, that these people had won for the last 4 years, Gold Shield Awards from the Chartered Institute of India. Why? For the quality and the transparency of the accounts that they produced. And this year, they have been ranked number 23rd globally amongst the 5,000 corporate as well as NGOs contestants presenting their accounts. And that is an amazing feat. They've been recognized as number 1 globally in the field, in the business that they are in. But there was a game changer. More than that, all these statistics, all these facts, I wanted to do something, but my due diligence was still not over. I went to school in Vadodara, and this was my game-changing moment. I wanted to find out as to how much was the wastage, because I had heard about many other NGOs as to what happens, and I wanted to check it out. And there was nobody from Akshayapatra with me, so I was at a little bit of free to ask the detailed questions. I asked the headmistress as to how much was the wastage here, and she said, there's no wastage here. Everything's fine, and all that. And I said, what do you mean there's no wastage here? Oh, I have to send a fax every day to the head office. So I thought she didn't probably understand my question as to why she has to tell me about this fax, this famous fax that she has to send. She picks out a file from the cabinet, gives me that file to look at, and I'm pretending to look at this file just to be courteous to her, because my question was what was the wastage, and she wanted to tell me about these faxes that she sends. She said we send a fax to head office every day to tell them as to how many children are expected tomorrow, so that we don't waste any food. I said, oh, okay, why? But why do you need to send a fax every day? You know how many children there are in your classroom, you know how many children there are in your schools. She said, well, you know what? We have Hindus, we have Muslims, we have Christians, and when they have their own festivities, they don't turn up. And we want to make sure that we don't waste food. Okay, so whilst I'm pretending to look at the file, do you know what? When your subconscious mind is looking something for negativity, you always find something. I found it. I found something. Every Monday, they were ordering extra food from their office. And I said, what's going on here? Why are you ordering extra food? And there was a pattern. Every Monday, 15 to 17% extra meals were being ordered. Where was it going? What was happening? That was my question from my subconscious mind. Auditing, due diligence, banker from the City of London. Said, sir, many children in this vicinity, in this neighborhood, do not get food on Sundays. So children are eating extra food. With tears in our eyes. It's a game changer. We decided to join the organization, came over to UK, established the branch, and we said, you know what, with the help of Deepika, Rana who's here, some of the ambassadors working with us, we've raised £750,000 each year for the last 2 years, and we want to scale it up. I know you are about 125 to 130 people here, and Gujarat, especially the Indians, you all work in syndicates and networks and all that. You send hundreds of Diwali cards and thousands of emails and all that. Through your network, ladies and gentlemen, I know I can get 130 schools adopted in the next 1 year through your efforts. You can either adopt yourselves some children, £10 a child feeds a child for whole 1 year, £2,500 adopt a school for whole 1 year, or network, spread the word. Let the world come to know about it. If Barack Obama says this is a fantastic formula, fantastic organization, proven methodology, this is a replicable model, through economic forums, World Economic Forum, we were invited to present this organization to Kenya government. They want to replicate this model. We've been invited to speak to Philippines and Indonesian. So students from those organizations are coming to our organization to study as to how this program runs. If they are learning, why can't we spread the word at least? This was an innovation that was done in India out of poverty to get rid of hunger in our country. You, gentlemen and ladies, can help this organization to spread the word. The mission is much, much bigger. We're feeding 1.3 million children today. We want to get to 5 million children by 2020. The scope is 123 million children in India who needs to be fed. We can only get up to 5 million children by 2020 because I think we need other 19, 20 other organizations to do something similar. Thank you so much. I have to fill it up.
The hunger. I saw kids having to sit a whole day in a school with no food, and that led to such a high dropout rate. Lots of the children there did not go on to further education. They just didn't have that sort of that brain activity, that mental power to stay focused in the class. So I'm so glad that I'm here today, and I've just heard about this Akshayapatra Foundation, because it's, again, you're just providing the roots for future generations, for them to build themselves out of poverty and
You've spoken for more than 3.5 seconds. And during that time, 2 children have already died. Every 3.5 seconds, a child dies because of malnourishment.
I'll definitely be lending myself to promote this cause, and I will be getting involved. So.
Thank you. I appreciate it.